Perhaps more well known for their range of premium tripods and monopods, Gitzo has recently branched out into an equally premium range of bags. The latest bags in the range are the Gitzo Adventury backpacks. Now, I've been using the Gitzo Adventury 30L, and I'm going to tell you about all the key features and exactly what I think of it. So key things first, how much can you get in the Gitzo Adventury 30L? Well, as the name suggests, it holds 30 litres worth of kit. And there is also a 45 litre version as well, the 45L. Now I'll show you what I've packed in here, the 30L, in just a second, but Gitzo claim that it will hold a Canon EOS 1D X Mark II and a 400mm lens, whilst the 40L can hold the same camera with a 600mm lens. So it's going to be ideal for wildlife photographers. So from the outside, the bag resembles a kind of hiking backpack. It's got this olive green kind of finish to it, so you're seamlessly going to blend into your surroundings. And for security, if you're traveling sort of along the street or anything like that, we've got back loading, so nobody can come along, just unzip your bag, sneak something out as you're walking along. Now, it's extremely lightweight given its size, and it's made of this kind of parachute rip square material. So we've got a threaded grid throughout the bag with a really strong thread, so that if you get a little nick in one of the squares, it's not suddenly going to become a larger tear. The threads actually prevent that kind of small nick tear from spreading and becoming larger. So one of the things to note on a rear loading backpack is the pressure that can be applied to your lower back, because you don't kind of get a sprung frame or any webbing on the bottom. Now, it's fairly well padded here. It's got nice grooves. Your spine is protected with this big center bit of padding, and I didn't actually feel any sort of discomfort wearing this. I didn't feel the cameras or any of the kit rubbing against my lower back, anything like that. It was quite comfortable to wear for a few hours. But I have to say, obviously I wasn't using a big pro DSLR and a big, huge, heavy lens. I've not got kit that heavy that I was testing it with. So you might want to put it on in a shop or something and try it out with your kit, just to make sure it's 100% comfortable, because you are going to be wearing this obviously for a few hours at a time. So as you would expect, we've got a waist belt at the bottom here, fairly snug and secure with this buckle, and there is also a chest strap as well, just here, thin strap this one. Now, it should be noted that you can't actually remove the waist strap if it's not in use, and you can't tuck it away anywhere. On the 45 litre version, you can actually completely remove the waist strap if you don't want it, and it's also got the option to sort of tuck it behind some of the padding. That isn't available on the 30 litre version, so just something to bear in mind. On the chest strap, it's also worth noting that on the buckle here, you do actually have an emergency whistle. Hopefully something that you're never going to have to use, but quite reassuring to know that you've got it on there anyway. Now, externally, there are lots of straps, lots of webbing, lots of places that you can hang things from. So you can hang a tripod from the side here. We've got a strap round here, and you can put the feet into these pockets. And again, there's another strap here just to tighten and secure those legs. We've got exactly the same on the other side here if you don't want to put it on this side, and you can actually hang it through the central webbing here and hook it down. Now, as you can see, you've got all these hooks here that you can hang various bits and pieces from. As you can see, I've put my H&Y filter kit holder just here across where the straps for the tripod are held, but equally with a carabiner clip or something, I could hang that anywhere or put a few decent accessories. So these side pockets, they're a fairly decent size, they're nice and large. Obviously you can get your tripod legs in the bottom here, and in the other one I've got another few accessories. But it's kind of odd that one of these wasn't actually a kind of elasticated webbed meshing so that you could put a water bottle in. Obviously you could put a water bottle in the side here, but kind of odd, especially given it's an outdoor bag, that we don't have that option specifically for a water bottle. And also there isn't an option for a hydration pouch or something like that. Would have been a useful option, particularly as this does seem to be designed for kind of hikers and those who are going to be out all day. You might though be able to find a way of using the hydration pack, possibly using the tablet holder or the laptop space in here, which we'll come on to in a bit. You might be just be able to feed the pouch in there and kind of feed it through. So if you do want to use one, it's probably an option, although it's not designed for it. Now here on the front of the bag, we've got a small pocket. You see how deep it goes. It's basically about as deep as my hand there. It's not particularly big, nice quick access pocket though, so it's useful for bits and pieces, a compass, your mobile phone, a wallet, smaller items like that. but you won't get much more in there. It's fairly flat, it's not that deep a pocket. And obviously if you've got a tripod mounted on the front of the bag here, you're not going to be able to access that too quickly, although then that does free up the side pocket, which is actually a little bit bigger. Now, one of my only real complaints about the Gitzo Adventury is that it could actually do with more pockets for bits. I like to be able to have all those small bits and pieces put into pockets, you know, little pouches and sleeves for memory cards, batteries, pens, chargers, business cards, all of that just stuff that you have to carry alongside your camera and your lenses. And there isn't anywhere really dedicated in here in terms of compartments for those kind of bits and pieces. Now, all of the pockets on the bag have a plastic sort of rubber weather sealing. They're around all of the zips on here, and they prevent any dust or sand or anything like that getting into the bag. Now, the bag itself is water repellent, and it seems that the material has been treated from what I can see on the description, and it's quite easy to wipe any mud or dirt off using sort of a wet wipe. But it's worth noting the bag itself obviously isn't waterproof like most camera bags these days. It does come with a rain cover, which is just found on the bottom here, comes out and just covers over, and it's actually held with elastic. You can take this and wash it. So again, muddy environments as well as wet ones, this is just going to help to keep your bag clean and keep all that dust and bits and pieces out. Now, one of the most interesting features of the bag is this expandable roll top section that we've got. This is obviously very similar to what you'd find on a big hiking bag. Now, in here currently I've just got my coat, and it's actually within this section there. So I've got a waterproof jacket in there, and this velcros just into the top section. Now, I've been away for a weekend, and I was actually able to get a couple of days worth of clothing in here quite easily, and again, it makes it a useful bag if you want to just carry your camera kit and a couple of days clothes with you. And having this bag, sort of being able to pull it out, you can just leave this at a hotel, in the car, wherever, and then just take your camera kit out with you. So very useful from that point of view. Now, the roll top just folds down like that, like it would on a hiking bag. And then we've got these buckles either side, and they just clip on here. And again, on the other side. And then everything is nice and neat and tucked and folded away. So like we said, the bag itself is open from the rear here. Interestingly, they haven't got those kind of finger loops. Now, they're useful if you're wearing gloves. So if we open the back now, just in this part here, we can actually get a laptop in here. Now, I've got my tiny dinky 12-inch MacBook in that sleeve, no problems whatsoever. You should be able to get a 13-inch MacBook Pro in there. I'll put the exact size and description just up on the screen now, so you can get an idea as to whether your laptop's going to fit in there. There's also a pouch here that'll fit a 10-inch tablet kind of quite easily, although I'm just using it for a kind of white balance and metering card. So onto the main compartment. Now, this is actually self-contained. It's its own kind of shell, so you can take this section out completely, the padded cell, and pack it separately, then just slot it into your bag. Or again, you can just empty it out completely, and you've got a useful just hiking kind of day bag with everything in. Now, I'll just unzip this, and again, it's got the kind of gridded webbing on here, so if you get a little nick in here, it shouldn't spread throughout the surface of the material. And then all my kit is in here in the various dividers and sections. Now, no two photographers are going to carry exactly the same kit, but let's just have a look at how I've packed this bag, what I've managed to fit in it, so that you can get an idea of exactly what you could fit inside with your own kit. Okay, so what have I got inside? Sony A7R. This is actually, compartment is actually as it's come. I've not really changed anything here, and it's just quite nice, this kind of, the way that this is designed. You've got perfect space here to fit camera body in like that. So we've got A7R there, A6500 there, use that for sort of vlogging. We've got the Western Digital My Passport wireless SSD, which I'm currently testing, that's in there. Rode Video Mic Pro, got leads and bits and pieces there. More battery chargers and bits and pieces. We've got a 5-inch monitor there, more batteries and a charger in that pocket there. But like I say, they say you can get a 1DX Mark II in here with a 400mm lens in there. You're easily going to be able to get a Pro DSLR with a 2470 and a 70-200 kind of alongside that. So it's got kind of the storage that you'd expect for a bag of this size, really. Not a lot more you can say about it other than that. So conclusions, the Gitzo Adventury 30L. Well, as you can see, you can get a decent amount of kit in this bag and it should satisfy the needs of the vast majority of photographers. I found it comfortable to wear, everything seems to fit well, and with Gitzo being part of the Vitek group, there's obviously a history in, you know, camera backpacks, particularly recently with Manfrotto, but then we've also got National Geographic, and then there's also, more importantly, you've got Lowepro and previously Kata as well. So they've taken everything from those brands and then they've put out this Gitzo bag itself, which is up to the standards of those really high level bags. So the roll top's really nice. It gives you the ability to throw in a few more accessories. You can put some food in there, obviously some clothes, bits and pieces like that. And it's nice that you can take that section out, leave it behind, and then you can just fold it down if you don't want a larger bag. So what don't I like? Well, there wasn't much, to be honest. I'd like to see a few more pockets on the bag, particularly for smaller items, you know, putting those bits and pieces, batteries, bits like that somewhere. And perhaps one of these side pockets could be elasticated for a water bottle. That would just be a nice touch. It would also be nice, but it's certainly not a deal breaker, if there was a space for a hydration pouch or something like that. For those who might be going out hiking all the time, that might be an issue, but I'm rarely doing anything strenuous enough to warrant carrying that amount of water. So to me personally, it's not really a problem. The only other thing I'd like would be the ability to tuck away the waist straps and the chest straps somewhere, or to remove them. Although, as I've said, this can be done on the larger 45L. Now, in terms of price, at £219, it's a serious investment. And there is a lot of competition, not least from Manfrotto and Lowepro. So I think whether or not you're going to find this bag worth the value depends on whether or not it can double up and replace a hiking bag for you. So you get a hiking bag and a camera bag in one, and that comes down to this roll top. Is there enough space in there for you? Perhaps there might be in the 45L. Potentially this could replace two bags. It could replace your camera bag and it could replace your hiking bag, in which case £219 is probably going to represent good value, but if it's only going to replace one of those, it might just not be worth it. You can probably get a whole couple of days worth of kit in here, particularly in the summer where your clothes are going to be smaller and lighter. As a camera bag on its own, you know, it does the job pretty well, but there is plenty of competition out there, and there may be some better options for you at around the same price, if not perhaps a little bit cheaper. So that's my review of the Gitzo Adventury 30L backpack. If you like this review, hit the subscribe button. We do videos like this once or twice a week. And by hitting subscribe, you can keep up to date with all the latest photo gear news and reviews.